Good morning on a Monday. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. I'm coming to you from one of the audio rooms. That's why kind of the sterile looking background, the big mic here. This is where we record KXL FM 101 radio reports here at KGW TV. It's the one quiet space I could find this morning, and I wanted to get this out to you. So here we go. Weather models this morning love at least some rain coming in from the west, a Pacific push of moisture. Tuesday overnight, Wednesday of this week. So right here on the left, this is the American GFS model showing all of Western Washington getting some rain, some showers pushing through the Willamette Valley, some rain out into the gorge, and then especially up across really much of Washington state. So we'll get into that. Statistically, we're still in the driest part of our year, meaning the overwhelming majority of rain chances I talk about this time of the year for Portland don't come true. Or if they do come true, we get just a dab when we thought we were going to get maybe a little soak. So, more on that coming up. And then I talked about this the last time I spoke with you. A return to hot weather this coming weekend and into the first part of next week could be a little mini heat wave. Remember, we have not hit 90 degrees even three times in a row yet this summer. It's been a series of back to back days. And it still looks like we could be well up into the 90s and maybe 3 or 4 day run of 90-degree temperatures starting this weekend into next week. So we'll talk about this. This is the European model this coming Monday that you're looking at. And these kind of what I call brick tones are the warming air mass coming in off the Pacific. So more on all of that coming up as well. We actually have a lot to talk about. The Momentous Wealth Management is the financial firm. Their podcast, Momentous Wealth Podcast, you can listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify for a variety of investment topics. This is the firm I use for my retirement planning and mutual funds and that type of thing. Momentous Wealth Management, licensed in Oregon and in Washington. Okay, I mentioned we've got a bunch to talk about. I want to give you a little summer checkup. So, a meteorological summer, the months of June, July, and August. So, obviously, we've completed June and July. So, for those 2 months, Portland has had 11 90-degree days. We have not done it this month. The hottest temperature, 97. If you average out the mean temperature for the 2 months, you take the low and the high, or basically the hourly numbers, and you average them together for the 2 months, and you come up with a above normal 1.4 degree Fahrenheit average. So remember the outlooks for this summer, not so much for June, but for July, we're above normal. Well, technically, yeah, we've been above normal, but we've been closer to normal than anything noticeably hot. So, and it's interesting to me that this plus 1.4, remember I took the time to do the averages for Portland going all the way back to the summer of 2000. And I found that our summers have been about 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer since then. So if this tells you that so far this summer, we're not pushing the envelope any hotter, but we're maintaining that average of being more than a degree above normal for another summer season. Rainfall, 2.26, which is actually above normal by a 12th of an inch. Remember, we had above normal rainfall, more than 1.5 inches came down in June. We had 33 100ths in Portland last month. So this is a reminder that a really dry summer for Portland isn't really that much different than a really wet summer. Bottom line is we don't get that much rain, but at least we've gotten some. So pleasant so far. I know people have been chatting about this because they've chatted to me about it. That so far we haven't had extreme heat. We haven't had just runaway hot weather. So knock on wood, we'll see if we can keep this going for the month of August. And something else, I updated you on this the last time we chatted, and the update hasn't changed much. So the Northwest Large Wildfire map. 8 active fires burning in Washington. Many have pretty good containment, including the Burdoin fire burning in the gorge in Skamania County. The other Washington fires, pardon me, are in the northern half of the state. Only 2 burning in Oregon, which is incredibly quiet for this time of the year. And both the Lake Creek and the Rock Creek show good containment. So right now, on this day, overall, the wildfire scene continues to be pretty quiet. All right, we have a comfortable weather forecast. It was in Portland over this past weekend, 80 on Saturday, 74 yesterday. Today, I've got us in the 70s. Tuesday, I've got us in the 70s. Wednesday, I've got us in the 70s. A real big stretch of comfortable weather that is averaging below normal for this time of the year. A lot of the clouds you see along the coast are expected to break up somewhat this afternoon. It is sunny out in the gorge. The valley clouds you can see expected to break up this afternoon. Sun River Resort. So outside of Bend, they had severe thunderstorms Sunday afternoon I think it was Sunday afternoon into the early evening. I'm not positive of the timing, but the reports said they had 1 inch hail in some of those storms. I saw some videos on social media, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So today, beautiful sunshine, all quiet for you folks over in Central Oregon. Again, back to the clouds in the valley that are expected to do some clearing this afternoon. Aspen Lakes Golf Course in the Sisters area, showing the Three Sisters. Again, beautiful sunshine over in Central Oregon. And there are more clouds down along the coast expected to clear this afternoon. Here is a look at that incoming rain chance. Now, we've had lightning storms already on this Monday morning around Burns and up toward the Blue Mountains. Those thunderstorms will be slowly migrating near the Idaho border to east into Idaho during the day today. And then tomorrow we have completely dry weather. So here we are this afternoon at 5 p.m. A few showers around the Idaho border, some showers up in the northeastern corner of Washington as well. So right now we expect all dry weather in our state on Tuesday during the day, with the possible exception of some thickening clouds and some light moisture up in western Washington, which you can see here. This is the future radar product. It's Tuesday overnight into Wednesday morning that we introduce the chance of rain to the Oregon coast and certainly to the Central and South Valley. Here's Salem, here's Portland area, there's Kelso Longview, all with some passing rain and even out into the gorge. This is 5 o'clock Wednesday morning. Here we are later in the morning with rain pushing across western Washington, eastern Washington, still some showers around Astoria and a shower threat in the valley, although not much showing up. There's a lingering chance of showers showing up, mainly in the Washington Cascades. This will be 5 p.m. Wednesday afternoon. So we'll see, but there's a deepening trough that comes in, deepening moisture levels come in. The modeling likes at least some rain along the Oregon coast and Portland and up into southwest Washington. And then that rain chance ends, I think, Wednesday evening going into the night. And Thursday will be all dry. And here's how much the modeling is showing that we could get. This is Tuesday afternoon. So this is cumulative rain showers that we pick up today, basically, out in eastern Oregon. But here's the rain Tuesday afternoon parking itself off of the coast coming into Washington. And then as I play this into Wednesday morning, this is the American GFS model, and I really believe that the modeling is going way overboard with rain amounts. But the fact that let me play this into Wednesday afternoon. The fact that the models like a quarter of an inch of rain in Portland, 3/10 up in Kelso Longview, 46 100ths in Astoria, at least a trace of rain down in Salem. The fact that they really like this heightens the chance for us to at least get some rain, right? Clearly, and all the models show this. The heavier rain totals and the best chance for rain overall is up here in western Washington. You can see the Washington coast almost 3/4 of an inch. Some of the North Washington Cascades over an inch of rain. And then, as I mentioned, I think this rain chance is done by the time we get into Thursday morning. So if this is true, Salem would have a trace to barely measurable. Portland would have a quarter of an inch. I think it makes more sense for Portland to think we're going to get measurable rainfall. We could get 5/100ths of an inch. At most, we could get 1/10 of an inch. Maybe Astoria gets a quarter to 3/10. Maybe Kelso Longview gets 2/10 to even a quarter of an inch of rain. So again, this is Tuesday overnight into Wednesday morning. We'll see if it holds together. This has actually been a rain chance that's been on our 7-day going well back into last week. Okay, here's the way it looks on the upper flow pattern. Same model, American GFS. This is this morning. See the red color? These are those little what we call vortmaxes, upper level disturbances. And this is the reason we had the thunderstorms earlier this morning in Burns, and today we'll be pushing and moving to the east. See the disturbance pushes all the way toward the Idaho border later this afternoon. Those storms move east out of Oregon. Tuesday, for the most part, is dry, except for that moisture approaching into western Washington. And then here comes Wednesday morning. See this upper level low coming out of the Gulf of Alaska? There's some disturbances in the flow pattern. The contours, the upper level contours, kind of dipping for some troughing coming into Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday, late afternoon, early evening. The low is up here near the Canadian border, right in here. That's why the models love the most likely rain across Washington, western Washington in particular. But maybe enough troughing to bring in a deep enough moisture layer that we get some scattered rain shower activity here in the Rose City and even down in the Salem and along the Oregon coast, maybe all the way down toward Lincoln City. We'll see. And then that moves out Thursday morning and moves all the way over into Idaho. And it's right here, C591 contour on the edge. This is an upper level high out in the Pacific. This is ridging. We start to warm up on Thursday, and then we could hit 90 as soon as Saturday of this upcoming weekend. Let me play this into Saturday. Here's Saturday afternoon. There's 591, 588. That's a 590 height aloft. The pattern doesn't show strong arcing for ridging, but that's a high pressure height, 590. And that would support 90-degree temperatures as early as Saturday. And then this warm weather pattern, now here's the ridging more pronounced going into Sunday. And there's a 594 high offshore. There's also a 594 high that extends from West Texas back into Nevada. So this is a hot bubble of air extending across most of the West and all the way up into Canada. Again, that's Sunday afternoon. And I think, yeah, here's the national blended model temperature. I'm going to progress this. I think this will let me play into the weekend. So this afternoon, look at the 70s up and down I-5. Really comfortable stuff. Only 80s out in the Columbia Basin like Pendleton. Really comfortable. Now, the modeling likes enough sun that Portland warms up to about 80 on Tuesday. And obviously the models could be right. I think we stay in the 70s. But at any rate, if it's 80 at most, that's still pretty comfortable on Tuesday, holding mostly in the 80s out in the Columbia Basin. And then Wednesday with the clouds and the rain chances, all the models show the dipping numbers in the 70s again, up and down I-5, low 80s out in the Columbia Basin. And then, as I mentioned, we start to warm up on Thursday, especially noticeably on Friday. Here's Friday afternoon, low to mid 80s, up and down I-5 to upper 80s down in Lane County, Eugene, 80s out in the Columbia Basin. Saturday, I mentioned, is the first day we could hit 90. This shows anywhere from upper 80s to low 90s from Portland. Actually shows a 95 down south of Eugene and 100-degree temperatures down here in Medford again. This is this coming Saturday, and then 90s out in the Columbia Basin. Saturday is kind of the first day that we're really going to be watching for the potential of hot weather. Here's Sunday. Again, right about 90 in Portland, low to mid 90s down through south of Eugene, and 100-degree temps again, 101 down in Medford, 90s out in the Columbia Basin. Monday's going to be similar, if not hotter. Here's Monday. Mid 90s from Portland down through Salem, maybe 97 in Eugene, 103 in Medford, mid 90s out in the Columbia Basin. Now we're going into Tuesday. Still 90-degree numbers in Portland, 80, mid 80s up in Seattle, 101 down in Medford, upper 90s out in the Columbia Basin. So let's say we hit 90 as early as Saturday. That'd be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's 4 days in a row. We have not done that yet this year in terms of just persistent heat. And I'll play it one more day. Here's Wednesday. Wednesday, it starts to cool us down. Shows 86, 87 in Portland. Still maybe, well, it shows upper 90s down in Medford. Okay. So you get the idea. This weekend and the mid part of next week could be our biggest run of 90-degree temperatures. There was one point that the models were showing Portland hitting 100 and even 105. They've backed off on that, but they are showing that potential 3, 4, 5 day run of 90-degree temperatures, which again, we haven't seen that. So let's go around the horn. Pardon me. Here's Medford, 85 today, 89 Tuesday, 88 Wednesday, and then there's the heat into the weekend. Medford, 100 on Saturday, 101 on Sunday. All right. Pendleton, 82. Chance of showers this morning. Later today, you're probably dry, decreasing Tuesday. In the 80s through Thursday through Friday. Nearing 90 Saturday, 93 on Sunday, but some comfortable weather coming up for you folks out in Eastern Oregon. Bend, we've got 80 today, 83 tomorrow, 80 Wednesday. Again, a comfortable week. 83 Thursday, 84 Friday, then back to 90 on Saturday, 93 on Sunday. There's the heat overtaking our state as we get going into the weekend. Up in Seattle, decreasing clouds this afternoon, pretty similar to Portland, 74, partly sunny, 70s tomorrow. Up to our north, likely rain at times, including Seattle on Wednesday, chance of rain lingering into Thursday, and then some warming into the weekend. Salem, what we got? 78, 83, chance of showers Wednesday. I think Thursday is mainly dry, certainly once we get past early morning, and then warming up into the 90s this coming weekend. 92 Saturday, 95 degrees on Sunday. Okay. Eugene's going to be similar. Chance of showers Wednesday, 94 Saturday, 97 on Sunday. There's that hot weather. Astoria, Chance of rain showers developing later in the day Tuesday or Tuesday evening. Wednesday, good chance of some rain along the north coast. Chance of showers quickly ending Thursday morning. And then some warming, 70s this upcoming weekend, even up in Astoria. North Bend, 60s the entire way, and all dry. Okay. Well, a lot going on that I thought you would find some interest in, courtesy of Hazeldale Tire Pros up in Vancouver off of I-5, tire shop that I've used for years. I've got Portland clouds to increasing sun and 76 this afternoon. I think we hold in the 70s tomorrow, but we could hit 80. I've got 77 on Tuesday, partly sunny. Wednesday, overcast, the ongoing shower threat, 74. And then we clear out after early clouds Thursday, and we could hit 80, mid 80s Friday. Saturday, either just staying in the 80s, 89, or warming to 90, and then low to maybe even mid 90s on Sunday. And again, potentially 90s Monday of next week and Tuesday of next week. That's your update. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. You will be notified when I post. It helps me out too. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill, coming to you from KGW in the audio booth. I'll talk to you soon.